Hello there guys, in this lesson we will talk about the switch statement, what it is and how to use it. So without further ado, let's start. So first let me declare an integer. Let me give it the name a, then we write switch, we give as input the integer, curly braces, then we define different cases. In this case with value 1, and if this case is true then we print a equal to 1 and line. We add break and we can build it and run it. Okay, we don't get anything because we haven't given a value. Let me give a equal to 1. We build it and run it. As we can see here, we get a is equal to 1. Now let me say a was 2. If a was 2, we wouldn't get anything because case 1 is not true, thus the expression here isn't executed, and then we just get out of the switch statement. We could add another case, like for example case 2, and if this was the case, we would print a is equal to 2. We need to add break here. I will explain why we add break in just a bit. We build it and run it, and as we see here, we get a is equal to 2. If we got a is equal to 1, then we get a is equal to 1. So this is basically the switch statement. Now, why do we add break? Well, because if we were to delete break here, then we would normally get, when a is equal to 1, the expression a equals 1. But if we build it and run it, what we see here is that we get not only the first one, but also the second one here. Sorry. So why does this happen? Let me delete this. Now, when we get to case 1, we see that a is indeed 1. So it prints what case 1 has. In this case, a is equal to 1. But then nothing breaks the loop, okay? You can think of switch statement as a loop. And when we hit the true condition and then this condition ends, then we just break it. But in this case, we have no break here, so it just keeps executing everything else. If we had something like this, case 3, cout a is equal to 3, and that, if we would build it and run it, as we see here, we get all the cases from 1 to 3. If we had a break here, then we would only get the first one and the second one, because we execute the first one, then we go down to the second one, and after that we hit the break, and then we get out of the switch statement. So this is the reason why we add breaks. So normally we need to add breaks every time. Now there's also another keyword here, which is default. And in default, we basically, if none of the cases is true, then there will be an output, which in this case is named default. And we could write something like this: a is not 1, 2, or 3. Sorry. And then let me give a value like 12. As you can see here, a is not 1, 2, or 3. If I had like the value 1 for a, then we would only get a is equal to 1. This is basically it for the switch statement. There's also something that I want to mention here is a special kind of notation, which is something like this: case 4, sorry, dot 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 10. And in this case we got a range here. We say values from 4 to 10, and this is basically for all values that are from 4 to 10. So in this case we might print a is bigger than equal to 4 and a is less than or equal to 10. And then let me give a value like 7. now we've got a problem here because we forgot to add a break here. Okay, don't forget to do these things. As we see here, we get the expression a is greater than or equal to 4 and a is less than or equal to 10. We had something like 4. As we see here, we get the same expression. Now this is basically a switch statement. It's very similar with if-else statements, but the major difference is that the switch statement can only be used for integers, characters, and numeric constant data types, which are none. Whereas the if statements can be used for everything, so switch statements are a little bit more limited to where we can use them, but nonetheless they are quite clear, quite clean. So this is it. See you next time.